Hi everyone, I'm Holly. I am the maker and doer of all the things here at Missouri River Soap. And in this video today, I am going to be making one of my most favorite holiday winter soaps, Wild Berry Blizzard. Oh, it's just so good. I have been making this for many years. It is a combo of like 6 different berry / holiday fragrances. It is special, spectacular. I love it so much. So I do need to finish getting ready, it seems. So I need to but separate my fragrance. The white portion is not going to have any fragrance. This one discolors just a little bit and does have a tendency to yellow a little bit. So I'm going to do the white on the top without it. Oop, oop, oop. Can you see there? For sure you can see there. Oh, you fell in just a little bit. I still love a popsicle stick for stirring. And then I have my good little sniffy. My sniffy device. Oh, this one actually weighs quite a bit more than my other little containers. I have extra for other projects. Alright, so the fragrances are ready. I have my colors pre-mixed with some olive oil. So I have this most spectacular pink, a beautiful purple, and then I have some blue. Now this is a mica mix. I want the micas so that at the top I can swirl, but the blue is probably going to have some ultramarine. And that needs a new little stir up. But I mix my ultramarine blue with water. And then I also have some titanium dioxide mixed up and ready to go. It's a little bit, sometimes it kind of re-solidifies at the bottom. It's kind of like, but not really, like cornstarch. You know how cornstarch will be, it'll feel like all thick and sticky on the bottom of your bowl, and you just have to mix it up and it goes back to liquid. It's not really like that, but that's kind of the feeling in the bottom of the container at the moment. All right, many colors. I have my coconut milk, so that's good. I have my lye solution here, it's covered up. I'll show you the colors that I used. So I mixed Queen of Hearts, Lollipop, and Rose Pink for the pink. I have Purple Vibrance, Purple Haze, and Fantasia for the purple. And then the blue is Blue Vibrance and Midnight. And then I'll do the ultramarine. So my base oils are a blend of olive, coconut, castor, kokum, mango, shea, and apricot kernel. It used to be a lot simpler, just olive, coconut, castor, and cocoa butter. But cocoa butter is too pricey to be using it like that, and so I did notice it's coming down though, so that's very exciting. So the first thing I like to do, add in the coconut milk, and it's a little clumpy. Words are hard sometimes. Tapping the air bubbles out of the shaft. We don't want to incorporate those into the soap. So you can swirl, you can tap, swirl and tap. So I'm soaping at room temperature. With the coconut milk, my oils are at 68 degrees. I mixed this up yesterday, so it's faux shizzle gonna be cool. What are you? 63. So I'm definitely going to be soaping cooler today. that's fine. Because I made the lye solution yesterday, it has what we call Lye-Lint. I don't know if you can see it. And it's kind of, you see it kind of floating down in there? I've reduced my lye solution, so that means I have less water in it to accommodate sodium lactate and coconut milk. Well, that tends to cause more of the Lye-Lint to build up. And it is just a reaction with the sodium hydroxide and the air. It's not a big deal, but if these pieces get a little crusty, it can be a situation. You don't want to have soap with, you know, one of these crusties that didn't break down, and you have yourself a little lye pocket. Now, it doesn't add up to a whole lot, and what doesn't go in just increases the super fat a smidgen, which is really not that big of a deal. I just want to mix this to emulsification because I'm definitely splitting it off, working with it. I typically count to 30 and then I'll give it another little blend if I feel like it needs it, but it's feeling good. Sometimes it'll be a little bit grainy. It's just the mixture of the butters, and I find that once I separate it and mix it more, then that all breaks back down. So if you see any graininess develop, that's what's happening. All right, so I have my pitchers here, and I'm going to pour to approximately 1500 ml. Yeah, it's grainy just a little bit. I learned that is actually what I want so that I have more time to work with my batch. That would, you know, you're not looking, if you're a new soap maker, you're not necessarily looking for it to be grainy. That's just something that happens with this particular blend, and I know I'll be all right, but typically you don't want it to be grainy. My other blends, this does not happen to. When I was not using mango butter, it didn't really happen. But I know that it used to do it a lot with the cocoa butter. But in my particular case, it's not problematic. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my micas. So this is my pink. And then I'll go ahead and put in my purple. Now, I am an affiliate for Nurture Handmade, so if you purchase via my link, I might get a little bit of a commission from it, but this video is not sponsored. We're going to see how that blue looks, but more than likely, I'm still going to add ultramarine because I just don't love what blue micas end up as. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and pour a little in. Doesn't take a lot of ultramarine to get the payoff. And then into this one, we're going to put in the titanium dioxide. I have reduced my water quite a bit, so hopefully this doesn't try to cause me any issues today. All right, so we're going to start right here. Titanium dioxide does like to accelerate a little bit. So I try not to blend it too much. Oh yes, look how beautiful that is with that It just needs the help from the ultramarine. It already has ultramarine blue within the micas, but what am I doing over here spilling? What's that all about? All right, so I am going to go ahead and add this in. All right, so I'll probably just go ahead and blend this all in at the same time on that one. That's beautiful. Very nice berry color. I did contemplate some berry twist, but I decided not to do that overall today. So I do want these to be thin, but it's really thin at the moment, and so the fragrance is playing nice. That one is at a trace. That's at a trace. Not quite. I do think I blended the purple up a little bit more than the other colors, but I don't remember because I think I've switched them around. Maybe it was the blue actually. The blue is at a trace as well. So I think we're moving along enough that just go ahead and pour. I have my handy dandy mold here. And let's see, I usually like to let's start with purple. Yeah, it's thickening up very quickly. So let's start with purple. Can't remember, am I doing 2 rounds? I think so. And we'll do the pink. I do want to do a hanger swirl this year, and it is definitely thickening up, so as long as it just doesn't get too wild. Smells amazing. I wish it stayed this bright, but it will dull from the fragrance. I don't want a lot of the white in for right now. Oh goodness gracious, these colors are so amazing. I want a lot of the white to be towards the top though. I do feel I'll add a little bit more here in a minute. All right, so the color that goes in first really ends up being the potent one. It's the one that kind of ends up being the base color, kind of brings it up the sides and everything, and then everything else kind of just ends up being a swirl within it. I realized I wasn't supposed to scrape all my micas, so that's fun. Hopefully I can get enough color out of there to put my drippies on the top. So it's definitely thickening up. I think I'm okay if I just get my rear in gear here. It's the scraping that gets ya. So I don't love these type of spatulas, and this is why I am wearing it. Ugh, these are a pain. And the blue, oh my goodness, this is just so beautiful. I do want some white, and look how, I don't know if you can, you see how just thin it is still? That's because there's no fragrance in it. Oh, so that's going to break through and make such a great look. Okay. Yeah, we'll save that for the top. Alright, so I'm using my hanger tool, and this is from Nurture Handmade also. Let me think. I'm going to go down and up, down, and up. And then, let's see, I want to do big swirls and then smaller swirls, and then down on the bottom, up a little bit more, up a little bit more, and then we'll call that good. So I also smack the mold to help break out any air bubbles. I've had some newer soap makers as of late ask me some questions of why I do such things. So where the colors have mixed together, it just has made the prettiest berry. I love it. Isn't that beautiful? Look how beautiful it is. All right, so now I'm mostly just going to flood on this white. I don't want it to be a thick layer, so I think this is going to work quite nicely. I didn't make this one year, or did I not? I don't know. Didn't plan on making it one year or something, and I don't know why, but I got in trouble. I don't know why I decided not to make it that year, but I don't know if I ended up making it still that year or what. But I have learned my lesson. Wild Berry Blizzard will be here every single year because we love it that much. I'm bringing back another classic this year that I have not made in several years. And I think you'll be very excited. Design will have to be different. There's a couple of soaps, like, I think I called it Snowberry. Is that what I called it? I don't even know anymore. I can't make soap balls anymore. I just can't. I have too many issues with my hands and carpal tunnel and all the things. I have just a smidgen left in these containers. Whoa, see? I don't know if you can see. Just a smidgen left. So I'm gonna add a little olive oil to them. And hopefully I can thin out enough. I don't want very much olive oil. I'm only putting in like, I don't know, that was probably getting closer to a half a teaspoon. Just enough to thin it out a little bit. I'm going to have to de-goggle for a moment. I have a new pair of goggles and they're just getting horrible at fogging up. Alright, so see there? Do you see how we've created a little bit? So, oh, that's plenty. That's plenty. So, I'm going to continue. Hello? It does not take much on the top to do the little drizzle and swirl. Alright, so I'm just, well, you're not very drippy. Come on now. Anyway, just dripping, little drips. right, so can you see it's still a little wiggly here still? I'm just gonna do this so that I can do it efficiently. Anyway, I'm just gonna kind of go through those little dots and just kind of swirl it about. In fact, let's just go through the dots. We're going to connect the dots for now. Just move them around. Isn't that pretty? I feel like I'm a little lacking in dottage in here. Alright, let's come back around and swirl them just a little bit. Ooh, that made a kind of a pretty long heart. Very nice. Alright, that looks pretty good. And so just gonna kind of swirl it. Nothing major, nothing spectacular. But it's beautiful. I'm going to add glitter, but it's highly airborne, so I'm wearing a mask. Alright, so the reason why I wear a mask is not just because it's airborne. I mean, that's the main reason, but it does have titanium dioxide in it, and so for that reason it is on California's Proposition 65 until it is contained within something. It is a problem when it's airborne, so it's best to wear a mask and just prevent any excess inhalation of such things. Okay, so here we have the Wild Berry Blizzard soap. It's so pretty. I absolutely love making this soap. I just love how this one looks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spritz it with alcohol. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to let it saponify, solidify. I like it to cool down completely before I unmold, so I won't mess with this probably for a couple of days, maybe even longer than that, but we'll see. All right, so I'll see you back here for the cut. Okay, so I am back and I'm very excited to see what this soap looks like inside. Everything looks good on the top. A little bit of the mica ran with my spritzing of alcohol, but well, it's an interesting sound, but that's not a problem. All right. It's looking good through the paper. I'm going to take a sneaky peek. Ooh, those colors are fabulous. I did not have the odd yellowing. I kind of tweaked the fragrance blend just a little bit to try to prevent that. All right, here it goes. You can see. Ooh, see now it's so pretty. It's beautiful. That's so good. That is so good. It's looking very nice. I love it. Alright, so I have my splitter here from Smith Creek Studios. That's a little too much. Alright, here it goes. Let's see what it looks like. Holy moly! those colors took me by surprise. Now this is kind of giving the similar color vibes and design to like one that I do for the Halloween season, or I did this year anyway. It was pink, purple, and blue, and so I was trying to actually make the colors a little bit more intense than that, but it's just a matter of the combo is what it comes down to. Still within usage rates. Okay, I cannot wait. Wow. It's gonna be so fun to see what the cut bars look like, because we're just now seeing, you know, we're seeing the hanger swirl the designs, but we want to see it on the other edge, other side, to really see how that design turned out. I don't know if you can even tell behind me. It is a beautiful but windy day in northwest Montana this day. And that still ended up being a little too chunky. So then I love taking the edges off because I just love a squared loaf of soap. These are always a little, you know, funky looking. They've got wrinkles from the liner. They've got, I don't know, you know, that's just not the prettiest. It would just be a side, obviously, but it's not the prettiest. And so I like to design my mold so that that can be cut off. And then I have all these built-in sample pieces. So, you know, I have nice samples to send out to my customers. And so I just cut these at 2 inches instead of 2.5 because the samples are still very chunky. They're very nice samples. I've gotten samples before from other soap makers, if you get one, that is, and they're just like the teeniest, tiniest thing. That's not how I operate. In fact, I just opened a yarn order. I've not been buying very much yarn, but I did splurge and got a few skeins, and I opened it up and it was just in the box. There was no bag, no thank you card, no business card, no sticker, no samples, no candy, just absolutely nothing. It literally was, oh, this is falling apart. Oh my goodness. Okay. All these screws are loose. At least it's a Ketter. Anyway, it was actually rather disappointing to just open a box and there's your goods, just like it was Amazon. So I like my customers to feel special. I want you to feel like your money has been well spent, that you are appreciated. And I love to send samples and a card and a note. And I didn't get an invoice or anything. I mean, a thank you, Holly, would have been great, but you know, I didn't even get that. All right, so let's cut this loaf. I have my bar cutter from Buds on Etsy, handcrafted by Bud Hafner. And I cut it 1 and 1. Nope, just 1 inch on this one. Ooh, I'm very excited. Yep. Yepper McYeppy pants. Look. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. That's good. So here we have a most beautiful bar. I'm not seeing the yellowing as much. The scent is barely changed. I'm not even sure I would notice the difference by incorporating. I literally just added the tiniest amount of a non-discoloring berry instead of one that was super discoloring. And so there's one where it's kind of bled a little bit because I was liberally spraying it to prevent ash, and then oops. Oopsies. Oh my goodness, this is so good. This is some delightful business right here. I'm very, very pleased. I'm sure you can tell. Sort of feeling like I wish I'd done a bigger batch, but because I didn't, I had, you know, a little bit more time to focus and concentrate and actually improve the batch. I'm really loving working in the smaller batches for designs. Oh, this one has more weight. Look how pretty that is. That's really, really nice. That's real nice, Clark. Isn't that so fun? So this is for a release following my main holiday release. It's going to be kind of a wintry one. And so I think I'm still going to cut for the sampler. I didn't think that one through. Let me think. I think I'm still going to cut the sampler sizes. My customers are loving being able to buy a little bit smaller bar. Now, I will weigh and we'll show the difference because I'm selling these as, well, this is the full bar. I'm selling them at 3/4 of a bar, but they're still almost 4 ounces because even though I sell these at 4 ounces, a lot of times they can inch closer to 4.5 to 5. Okay, let's just go ahead and we'll cut the sampler. Let's cut a little bit less for the end cut. So then I tend to grab these bigger pieces for me. These will be my soaps to test and enjoy. But I do still send out some because I usually have plenty. Oh, I'm not going to clean that off. All right, so this is set to be 0.75 inches. Oh my. It looks good. It looks good. Now these are not going to, not gonna worry about it. Wow. Just wow. I love it so much. I love it when a plan comes together. Oh my goodness, that little bit of ultramarine blue just amped it up. Or did I use all ultramarine blue on this one? See, because I did a batch Winter Wonderland right after it. Now I don't remember if I did all ultramarine in this one or if I added some other stuff. You'll remember better than me because you just watched me do it. That's why we have to keep good notes. Because once we think that we know what's up, sometimes we don't remember what's up. Alright, so I have my tray here, and I have the plastic trays, but they're a little bit flimsy because soap is very heavy. So I do still put them in an aluminum tray, and we just use like a baker's bread rack. And so I am going to put the soaps on the tray, and it's going to cure. So if you're new to soap making or watching soap making videos, cold processed soap has to cure. It's not ready right away. So we give it 4 to 6 weeks. And that's just on your low end. And it just needs to, it develops a crystalline structure. It evaporates the excess water. It makes it a harder, longer lasting, more gentle soap bar. So we put them on the trays. And then we let them sit for quite some time. And because it is still early and before my holiday release, my curing rack is right there behind my cameras and looks beautiful with all of my holiday goodies. I'm very excited. Excuse me. Alright, so I ended up actually with 11 because I cut my one sample so small. In fact, I think I was going to, not my sample, but my end cut was very thin, and so I was able to get 21 of the sampler size bars. And I just pull this in like so. I offset it a little bit because I just don't want to accidentally confuse them in any counts or anything. So I just offset and make sure my samplers are just a little bit different. I'll put that one there because it is an extra. It's probably mine. And so then I also lay out these samples. I'm mixing them up. I'm mixing them up. This is like for a sampler, and these are my gift samples. This is good. Very, very good. I hope that you've enjoyed the making of Wild Berry Blizzard soap. I think this may be my favorite batch yet. I do have some other making of this particular one on the channel, so I'll try to remember to link those down below. If not, you can just do a search. Please like this video, subscribe if you have not already, and leave me a comment. I love chatting with you. My website is moriversoap.com. That's where I sell my products, so I hope that you'll check it out. There's a lot of information in the video description box, so definitely take a peek at that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.